Good evening. Today we are hosting Professor Vasa. Our guest today is actually from a country where very close to us. If I say Attila, the ruler of the European Hun Empire and the representative of the organization of Turkish states in Europe, most of you will probably immediately say that it is Hungary. I would like to thank Professor Vasa once again for accepting our invitation. Professor Vasa will deliver a speech titled Hungary Foreign Policy and Public Diplomacy today within the framework of the public diplomacy program. It is, as you know, a joint event of ANKASAM and Cappadocia University. Without further ado, I would like to briefly mention about Professor Vasa's biography. He is Chief Advisor and Senior Research Fellow at the Hungarian Institute of International Affairs. After his degrees in agricultural economics, German-Hungarian translation and international MBA studies, he completed his PhD and habilitation at Széchenyi István University, Hungary. He worked as an associate professor at this university, where he also acted as the vice dean for international affairs of the Faculty of Economics and Social Sciences. Currently, Professor Vasa is a professor of the Széchenyi István University. His main fields of research are economics of transition, post-Soviet studies, especially Caucasus and Central Asian countries, economics of natural resources, trade policy, and international issues of agricultural economics. He is a professor and PhD supervisor of Hungarian and foreign doctoral schools, member of editorial board of different referred international and Hungarian scientific journals. He actively participates in several international scientific organizations and networks as a visiting professor and honorary doctor of Japanese, Russian, and Kazakh universities. I think it is enough. Later, Professor Vasa will continue to his speech, but as usual, our audience can ask their questions via the WhatsApp number that will be indicated on the screen, as well as our friends in the hall can ask questions by introducing themselves during after the program if they want. Those who didn't have the opportunity to watch today's event, which we believe will make an important contribution to the literature, can watch it on YouTube after the program. The floor is now given to Professor Vasa. Please, Professor Vasa.
Thank you very much, Professor Erol, and dear colleagues. I feel really privileged to be invited to this seminar series, and I was really happy when I got your kind request to contribute due to several reasons. First of all, I am, let's say, a kind of expert on the Turkish world and Central Asia and Southern Caucasus in Hungary and internationally. So it is always a pleasure to be connected and to serve our partners in this region. And from the other hand, I am working in my think tank capacity as the Hungarian Institute of International Affairs is the foreign policy think tank of Hungary, in a very close cooperation and collaboration with the government, Hungarian government. So I am serving in this sphere of foreign policy and foreign affairs in the past almost 15 years. So I see a lot how the public diplomacy is working and how Hungary's public diplomacy, so soft diplomacy, is working all around the world, especially in the Turkish world. So in my coming presentation or lecture, I will talk about it among others as well. So it is really a good feeling to talk about these think tank related topics in an academic environment. And as I am very tight connected to the academia as well, as I am the head of the doctoral school for regional sciences and business administration at the Széchenyi István University, we are also covering some international economics and trade topics. So I know very well how important it is to connect the academia with the think tank world and with the policy making and the application of the different public policies. So thank you again to get involved, to provide me the opportunity for involvement to your seminar series. And it is really an honor to be one of the speakers. I saw several high-level persons before me in the series, so it is really a privilege. So now we are living in a time when international cooperation is not no longer a luxury, not a luxury anymore, but it is a necessity. That is why we are talking so much about the connectivity. We face global challenges, economic uncertainties, climate change, digital transformation, and social inequality, but we also see global opportunities, new technologies, global learning, cultural creativity, and scientific discovery. So in this complex world, it is clear countries must understand each other better. Not only in business or politics, but also in how we learn, how we innovate, and how we tell our national stories. And somehow this is what about the public diplomacy is going. In this complex world, it is also clear that the countries must understand each other better again. And Hungary believes that very strongly that friendship and mutual respect and strategic cooperation that lasts longer than election cycles or annual reports. So our politicians more than 15 years ago decided to start basically new and totally different foreign policy than before. So these are not only political slogans for us, they are foundation of how we think about the diplomacy. And when we look on the Turkish world, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkey, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan, we do not we do not just see partners in a formal sense. We see something more personal. That is why I am happy to talk for our audience at the Cappadocia University, because in connection with the Turkish world, we see a shared story. A story of cultural memory, of deep linguistic ties, of people who once traveled the same steppes, lived similar traditions, and preserved values of honor, family, and knowledge. As many Hungarian historians and linguists have written for centuries, the Hungarian people carry cultural and linguistic links to the East. Some of these are symbolic, some are scientific, but all of them remind us that our story is connected to yours. So in Hungary, we sometimes say we are distant relatives, but close friends. In the past decade, Hungary have made the symbolic idea into strategic policy, and we call it the Eastern Opening, which was launched already 11 years ago, more than 11 years ago. This is not just about trade or infrastructure. It is about rebalancing our attention, looking more seriously to the East, to Central Asia, to the Turkic world as key partners in the future. Why? Because we believe these relationships are not only natural, they are also strategic. full of opportunities and built on deep cultural trust. So what kind of bridges do we want to build on where the public diplomacy can serve as a very good tool? Not only roads and railways, not only economic agreements, but bridges of knowledge, bridges of innovation, bridges of human understanding. Dear audience, ladies and gentlemen, this presentation will focus on the most important pillars of Hungary's soft power diplomacy. So, as I mentioned, Hungary and the Turkish world are partners where several progresses are going on, not just economic, but also cultural and people-to-people projects, people-to-people programs and related projects. As I mentioned, we share common values like friendship, real friendship, and the values of families, and the mutual respect and the cooperation based on mutual trust. And in the framework of Hungary's Eastern opening for opening to the East, I would say rather foreign policy, we extended our networks and we increased our relations, the frequency of our relations to the Central Asian and countries and to the whole Turkish world, among others, because this whole project, this whole doctrine is focusing not just on Central Asia and the Southern Caucasus and Turkey, but also on the whole post-Soviet area, on China, and also later we started opening to the South, which is for covering Southeast Asia and Africa and Latin America. So it is really showing a totally new approach in our foreign policy. The main idea behind this was, by the way, that after the changes 35 years ago, Hungary decided to follow the Euro-Atlantic track, which was a very wise idea. And still we think that Hungary belongs to the Western world. But 25 years later, it was clear that we are depending too much on the Turkish world, not just economically, but also, I would say, somehow culturally. And it is causing this cultural term can be understood as a potential conflict of interests and conflict within the society when it comes to the Western values, which was getting just too much for our very tradition-based society. And when it comes to the economy, it was very one-sided. I mean, it was not diverse and still not diverse. Our export orients more than 80% to the Western world. And if something is happening, let's say weakening in the economies of the Western world countries, we were suffering and we are suffering. If Germany is weak, or if the US is weak, or Western Europe is weak, then Hungary's economy will suffer too. So the main idea was to look for our traditional partners in the East, from where we came and where we found always a good understanding already in the Soviet time, I would say. And we have a very good base for new cooperations. And we started to increase our cultural, our scientific, our higher education, and for sure our economic presence in the region. And our world diplomacy served this idea. And we opened new embassies in the region, like our embassy in Bishkek. We increased the number of our diplomats, especially the number of the cultural and commercial attaches in this region, and several high-level visits took place among our countries and between our regions, including multilateral talks. As you kindly mentioned in your intro, Hungary is the observing member of the Organization of Turkic States. But I would say that we are at least so active than or like any other ordinary member. We are initiating projects like the drought prevention institute how to fight the dryness in our lands. And also we are taking part in the Turkish Investment Fund, and we are taking part in all professional bodies of the OTS, including the Turkish Academy or the official think tank network of the Turkic states. So yes, I talked about this one, and let's see how Hungary is looking like from the hard and the soft approach, or our hard and soft point of view when it comes to power. For sure, Hungary is not a hard power. We cannot be. I would say we cannot be anymore. There were times in the history when the Hungarian kingdom was the strongest in Europe. Now we are a tiny country. We suffered a lot in the history, so our area is quite small. When in the rank, it is just the 108th place in the world. The population is less than 10 million, and we do not think that the migration, especially the illegal migration, can help this demographic problem. But we think that the values of families can help, and supporting families to have more children can help. And this is another part of the Hungarian public policy, but it is not really related to the foreign policy issues, while several countries are very much interested to study the Hungarian model of family support. Our economy, I would say, it is close to the most developed countries, but we are not belonging to the most developed countries yet. We try to catch the average of the European Union, let's say, living standards, but still we need time and efforts to reach at least the average. So, and when it comes to hard power, we have to talk about the military, which is also not very big, but a significant strengthening of our military stuff and equipment started, partially with the help of our friends from Turkey, like the Gidran vehicles and others. So also in this field, the cooperation is excellent between our countries. But we have some fields where I would say Hungary is overrepresented compared to its hard power. When it comes to culture, then if we talk about the music, it is worldwide known that Hungary gave very famous companies to the world, like Bartók or Liszt. And also the Hungarian folklore music is widely known. Or if we are talking about the science, we have 12 Nobel laureates of Hungarian origin. Most of them got the lower roles or the prize abroad, but the education, each of them made their education in Hungary. Or the technology, we know several Hungarian inventions. The education is also at a very high level, especially in the field of medicine, universities. The sports, we have a very, very good place when we see the gold medals or the Olympic Games medals in the world. So we are within the top 20 in the world. And the living standard, I mean, the living conditions or the quality of life in our country is quite good, even compared to the Western world, because we still preserve the natural sites, and once again, the societal values in our country. And also in the tourism, Hungary is widely known even for the Turkish tourists. Budapest is a magnificent and very attractive town, and we just hope that more and more direct flights will be established among our countries, and we can visit each other much easily. And the cuisine, for sure, it's also famous, like the goulash or the fish soup in Hungary. We still have to do more efforts to strengthen our gastronomy diplomacy and to provide so much Hungarian restaurants in the world like Turkey does, or the different Central Asian cuisines. So I will show you some details along these fields in the next few minutes. First of all, I would diplomacy of Hungary because it can be a soft power, and we apply it in a very specific form. With the Eastern opening foreign policy, exactly in the same year, Hungary decided, connected to this policy, to this doctrine, decided to provide several thousands or 10,000 seats at Hungarian University for foreign students in a form of a scholarship. So the studies are, and will be covered by the Hungarian government. And in this way, we try to attract talented students from the emerging world, including Central Asia, Southern Caucasus, and also Turkey, to our country, where they can study in English, first of all, but if they wish, they can also start their studies in Hungarian, but for that they have to study Hungarian language in 1 year. So this whole soft power core means the knowledge-based partnerships, ministries, higher education institutions, and international networks are involved and integrated, and the emphasis is set on the joint capacity building. This is going about cooperation networks of universities, bilateral connections for double degrees and student and staff mobility, and also the mentioned scholarship programs, which are sometimes on mutual basis. So also sometimes Hungarian students can visit the partner countries. And in the scholarship program I mentioned, it is called the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship program, where 28 Hungarian higher education institutions are involved, and they are offering academic programs and scholarships for scholarship holders. We have already more than 10,000 Stipendium Hungaricum students currently studying in Hungary, but more graduated already. And I think it is an important information that we provide not just BA and master studies, for scholarships for master and BA studies, but also at the PhD level. And also the medicine studies are included. Moreover, even the music studies at the famous Liszt-Ferenc Academy of Music. More than 600 degree programs are included, and based on a survey, 93% of the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship holders would probably choose Hungary again for their studies. It is strengthening not only our reputation, but it is strengthening our universities as well, because we can gather talented students from abroad, and sometimes the best students are remaining in Hungary, and they are continuing their academic career in Hungary, or, which is more often, they are returning to their home country and they are taking jobs in the academia or in the state administrations, even sometimes at a very high position. Over 60 countries are included into this program, including the poorest countries, but also including Japan, which is the richest country. So it is not an aid program. It is a program for our respected partner countries, and it is not mutual. So we are providing these scholarships even in countries where the appropriate governments are not providing a scholarship to Hungarian students, but it is not a problem. It is not our goal. Our goal is to provide this opportunity to study in Hungary, in an EU member country, providing EU accredited diplomas. It is a big help for several thousands of students. And here you can see the tendency of the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship program. An interesting side note or information that within that time Ministry of Human Resources, within the State Secretary of Higher Education, in the cabinet, I was responsible as Deputy Chief of Staff for launching this program. And in the first year, it was 2013, I was the one who distributed the students to which Hungarian universities to study. But that time we were talking about less than 500 applicants. And now we are talking about several thousand of applicants every year. Here you can see in the second point, we got for this academic year, I mean from September for the next academic year, more than 80,000 applications from all around the world, while only less than 5,000 seats are available for 1 year. So the competition is high, but it is good because in this way, the best and most talented students can join our higher education system. An interesting fact that last year, 1,436 students from 6 Turkic states studied in Hungary with the help of this Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship program. But I have to say that more students than this number are studying in Hungary from the Turkish world. I would say at least 5,000 students are here, including Turkey, Central Asia, and Azerbaijan. But the rest, they are paying their tuition fee at our engineering and medicine faculties or at economic faculties, which are also very famous. So I would say it is a quite successful program. And these programs are EU accredited, EU English language degree programs. Usually less than 1% are studying in Hungarian. And we have already more than 9,000 alumni, active Stipendium Hungaricum graduates globally. We used to say that these students who graduated in Hungary are our best ambassadors because they are advertising our country, they are telling stories about our country. And as we could see based on the surveys, more than 90% think that they would choose Hungary again. So most likely they like it, their stay and their studies in Hungary. So it is a very good promotion and PR for the country. So it is an excellent soft diplomacy tool as well. The collaboration with the Central Asian, I would say Central Eurasian higher education institutions are ongoing and more active. Now several double degree programs are under development and just about to start, even from September. It is a great opportunity because it can bring Hungarian students to this region as well. What are the future pathways and the impacts? There is a big potential for the double degree programs, as I mentioned. There is a big potential for starting cooperation in the research, potential for co-research centers, dual degrees, or even the PhD degrees in a dual form, which could bring a lot for our countries. Innovation hubs and joint publications are essential. The joint publications are essential for our university ranking purposes. As the same like in Hungary, now the Central Eurasian and also Turkish universities are very much motivated and interested to run for the better rankings in the world university ranking lists. And for that, the international cooperation is essential. And also in the field of innovation, just an example, a Hungarian university is just launched an innovation hub, a science park in Uzbekistan. It is a public university, and it was made without any state support. It was made on business based. It is an excellent opportunity, and it is really a great tool to utilize not only the capital, the investment, but also the knowledge what we are having, and we can make a perfect match. How to match the knowledge and the management and the capital investment in this story, and for sure we can work for a better future and for the business success in this regard. We also use the diaspora scholarship for our public diplomacy. It can reconnect the heritage, and we are not just focusing on the diaspora, on the adults, let's say, or those who are still speaking Hungarian, but we also focus on those who are still having the heritage. They still having in mind that they are having Hungarian origin, but they are not talking Hungarian anymore. But their grandparents were talking, let's say, in the United States or in South America. So we have specific programs for our diaspora members. We are operating a guest lecturer network. More than 70 scholars, lecturers in 36 countries are working, financed, and covered the costs by the Hungarian government. From Japan to America via Turkey, we have this program at several universities, and we are planning to extend this program because it is quite successful. It is our sincere interest to show the Hungarian culture and the Hungarian language. And also the Hungarian Diplomatic Academy invites foreigners for its training programs in a form of different scholarships, and it is a good tool to have experts from foreign countries who are returning to their home countries and will work for the foreign ministry. And obviously, it is much better to be connected to someone who visited Hungary in the framework of a scholarship. We have a better understanding, and we know each other much better, which can make the processes much easier. You know very well. It is totally different to work with a Hungarian partner than with a Western European or with a Far East partner if you are from the Central Eurasian region. And to the knowledge diplomacy, it is tight connected the science diplomacy. The science diplomacy is focusing very much on the networking and on supporting projects abroad. How we can utilize the values of the knowledge in the field of science and science organizing and science management, and how we can utilize it for our diplomatic and bilateral or multilateral purposes. The mentioned Drought Preventing Institute, which was offered by Hungary and realized in the Central Asian region in the dry areas. It's one example. But another example is the Potato Research Institute in Uzbekistan, which we funded and financed in the recent years. And also the mentioned Science Park can be one of the examples for the science diplomacy. The collaboration in the science can stimulate not only the professional discussion and the joint publications, but also the policy making in the science, in the field of science and academia. We have established several facilities in Hungary which are attracting foreign scientists to the country. One is the European Light Infrastructure facility in southern Hungary, in Szeged. It is a very important, let's say, laser infrastructure for the physicists. The Zala zone is an automated vehicle test race, and it is able not just serving the car makers' needs, but it is also able to serve the military vehicle producers. And we established the national laboratory system. And in addition, we delegated 15 science and technology attaches worldwide. We have it in New York, we have in Berlin, we have it in Seoul, in New Delhi, in Japan, and in some other countries, including also South Africa. So these attaches are helping a lot to find appropriate partners for international scientific projects. And here you can see some interesting issues related to the Hungarian science. We have several innovations and inventions like the Rubik Cube or the vitamin C, or even the pen, the ball pen, was invented by a Hungarian, and several other things. And I put the Oppenheimer poster because not just Oppenheimer was in behind of the nuclear bomb and the nuclear technology for the energies, but also Hungarians, including Ada Teller. So iconic names in America with Hungarian origins. And here you can see our two latest Nobel Prize laureates, Kariko Katalin. She was in behind of the COVID vaccine. So we can be really proud on our results of the science and scientific achievements. And clearly, we try to utilize it in our public diplomacy as much as possible. Cultural diplomacy is a very traditional tool of the diplomacy, of the public diplomacy. It means the identity, how to show the identity through the culture. In the frame of this idea, we established cultural institutes in 26 countries. In the largest capitals and cities in the world, we have a Hungarian Institute of Culture. It is branded by our very famous Hungarian componist Liszt, Franz Liszt, or Ferenc Liszt. And in the frame of cultural diplomacy, we are supporting festivals, exhibitions, national celebrations, and we have several partner institutions within this framework in Hungary. So we are promoting the Hungarian music. Here you can see some folklore costumes. The folklore dance house is a very much Hungarian inventory, I would say, and we try to export it in the frame of different folklore festivals where people are enjoying the folklore dance by nature. And with the help of our institutional system, we can tell our stories through culture. The mentioned Liszt institutes are located in 26 locations. So I think they are doing a really great job promoting our performing arts and also the music, the fantastic folklore and classical music of Hungary. And the sport is not very far from these issues. As I mentioned, we have quite good position when it comes to the total number of the Olympic medals. Hungary is on the 8th place within the world, all over the world. It is quite good compared to the size of our country. So we had like 181 gold medal in the history of the modern Olympic Games. And we attracted worldwide sport events to Budapest. So the sport diplomacy fields, the same like Central Asia and Turkey, Hungary is very active. We try to attract as much international sport events as possible. We created necessary infrastructure, the stadiums and the sports halls and the different complex halls for it, and also the swimming pools and everything. And for sure, we have the Danube and other rivers and lakes for the water sports. So we took part in the UEFA Euro Championship in 2020, the water sports Olympiad or World Championship in 2017, and also the World Athletics Championship was in Budapest in 2023. Based on the experiences, the sport is one of the best tools to facilitate and to strengthen connections, both in bilateral and multilateral terms. And the tech ball is a very specific Hungarian inventory for the world sport. It is a kind of mixture of ping pong, table tennis, and the soccer. So here you can see in the left corner down this table for the tech ball. They are playing it with the normal football. So it is a quite interesting and exciting game, indeed. And the tourism, for sure, it is an obvious tool to use it as a diplomacy tool. If we are talking about visa regime, for sure, if we are applying it accordingly and in a good way and with a good capacity, for sure, then we can have more tourists from the different regions. That is why we strengthened the number of our consuls in the Turkish world, because we would like to have more and more tourists from Central Asia, Southern Caucasus, and Turkey. Luckily, we have like 5 direct flights a day just to Istanbul alone, and also several other direct flights to other Turkish and Turkish cities in the region. So the tourism is an excellent soft power through the people-to-people connections. It is promoting our values very much. The cultural and historical appeal is important, and it is important what we think about ourselves and how the world is looking like us. The economic impact is significant, especially in Hungary. Almost 10% of the GDP is coming from the tourism. The tourism is a good tool to spread our culture and language all around the world. We are not so good yet, like the K-pop and other Far East or the kawaii thing, but we are on it. The wellness tourism is very popular in Hungary, and the tourism provides a good opportunity to showcase the modern Hungary, as we have a lot of modern things as well, for sure, especially if you visit Hungary. The cuisine, as I mentioned, is famous, not promoted enough, but we try to do our best, especially via the wine promotion and the wine advertisements. But we have some very nice national food like the langos, where you can see this pie here, or the chimney cake, which is a very traditional Hungarian food. It is sweet. And also the chicken paprikash, what you can see in the right. So these are a very good base. These are providing a very good base to promote traditional practices and national products. And it is a good tool to build international relationships through food via the chefs and the chefs training. And the humanitarian aid is also one of the soft diplomacy tools. Our country is small, so we have to find appropriate, obviously smaller projects. But the program calls Hungary Helps, and over the last 5 years, the Hungary Helps program has provided humanitarian and rehabilitation assistance to more than 270 projects in more than 50 countries, worth of almost 100 million US dollar, improving nearly 1 million people's everyday life. And it is worth to mention that we opened several consular offices, moreover, even sometimes embassies, or at least any diplomatic representations, because of the existence of these humanitarian aid projects, including Uganda or Chad, or any other poor or less developed countries. So we are doing our best, and not only the Hungarian government is included, but also different NGOs, mostly developed to different church initiatives like the Baptists or the Ecumenical Helps Foundation. And in big need, these Hungarian humanitarian aid organizations are allying and trying to help together in case of emergencies in the world. And what is our soft power vision? Our soft power vision is built on trust, excellence, and vision. And we should co-create lasting partnerships and knowledge and culture. And we need not just partners all around the world, but we need friends, because based on friendships, any projects can be initiated and realized, and our goals to improve the world to a better shape can be realized much easier. Here you can see some websites of the different programs what about I was talking. So do not hesitate to contact them if you are interested. And so much I wanted to talk about the Hungarian public diplomacy. I could touch also the think tank cooperation, which is a very important but a kind of niche part of the higher elite. I try to focus on those programs and on those parts of our public diplomacy which are widely available for our partners. So thank you very much. I am very much looking forward to get your questions or commentaries. I try to answer these based on my best knowledge. Thank you very much. I can't hear you.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
No. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I'm very, very sorry. Yes, I said it was a very enlightening speech. Undoubtedly, it was much more productive to listen to such an important issue from an expert who knows Turkic world very well. And as a matter of fact, a significant part of the questions, naturally, received were related to the Turkic world and Hungary. As I mentioned before, there is a great interest in your speech. We predicted it because there are many questions in front of me, but unfortunately, I will ask only some of them, Professor Vasa.
Yes.
But some of them, I think at least 7 or 8 questions, as well as I see. So I will not be able to ask some of the questions because of the lack of time. So I apologize to our audience and also, of course, from you, Professor Vasa. First question. What kind of public diplomacy does or can Hungary pursue between the Turkic world and Europe in terms of strengthening relations in the context of the organization of Turkic states.
Sorry, half of the question I didn't hear due to some disruption in voice. So could you repeat
Yes.
the first half of the question?
Yes.
The last half I understood the OTS, it's fine, but I don't know what was the original question.
Okay, what kind of public diplomacy does exist now for Hungary, or can Hungary pursue between the Turkic world and the Europe in terms of strengthening relations in the context of the Organization of Turkic States?
Okay, I tried to figure out because the same problem occurred again, but I think I know what you wanted to ask.
How Hungary plays a role to strengthen relations between Europe and Turkic world, Organization of Turkic States. Yes.
Yes,
Briefly.
this is a very valid question.
Yeah.
The organization of Turkic states held its informal summit in Budapest like a few weeks ago. It was one of the largest diplomatic events in the history of Hungary, and I got several questions along this. And as a kind of expert of the Turkic world in Hungary, for sure, I am prepared to these questions. So Hungary initiated the observer status within that time Turkic Council because we think that we have several common things with the Turkic world. Not just because of the Ottoman occupation for 150 years, because that wouldn't be a good reason for it. But we know very well from the history that our roots are common. Hungary's origin is from the same place, from the southern Ural, from northern Central Asia, from where the other Turkic nations are originating. And there are proofs that we predecessors were living together, were wandering together on the steppe, and they kept the connection with each other. And Hungary just tries to have good relations with those nations who have some better understanding to our history, to our habits, and to our nature as a nation. So we used to say that Hungary is the most Western Asian nation, despite the fact that our face is not looking like Asian anymore. But indeed, the ancient Hungarians started to spread out towards the Western regions from Central Asia. And also there is a debate even among our historians and scientists whether the Hungarian language is really just purely Finno-Ugric, or also we have some Turkic background in it, because we have several words, several hundreds words in our language, which are very ancient words, so obviously cannot be implemented to the Hungarian language just in the Ottoman time. So we think that at least partially we have something very common with the Turkic nations, and it is a very good base to use it as a public diplomacy tool, because if we are taking part in an international organization, moreover, the Hungarian government offered to host the first and only foreign representation of the Organization of Turkic States in a diplomatic status. So it is a quasi-embassy of the Organization of Turkic States in Budapest, financed by the Hungarian government. then we think that it can open up new opportunities for our cultural, scientific, educational, and economic cooperations in the Turkish world. And we can initiate projects which can be useful for our nations. So I think this could be summarized as from the public diplomacy perspective.
Okay. Another question, Professor. In the context of the organization of Turkic states, what steps can be taken to further increase cooperation in the field of education?
Yes, no, we have a government initiative which encourage our universities to start real cooperations with the universities from the Turkish world, especially double degree programs. So not just a MOU, and we are not doing anything. So not just for the paper, but real programs where Hungarian students can visit Turkic states and the Turkish state students can visit Hungary for longer period. Not full studies, but part-time studies. And also the same for the staff exchange. I have very good experiences, which was not planned, I mean, by the Hungarian government, but it was rather a very, very good initiative of the Kazakh government, because in the past 20 years, I visited several times Kazakhstan as a visiting professor. And Kazakhstan introduced a very pragmatic and very enlightened program for the PhD supervision, where they require to have a foreign supervisor besides of the domestic supervisor for the PhD students. I am taking part in this project or in these programs for 15 years. Around 10 PhD students of mine got their degree already. It is a very good tool to get involved. So this could be extended to the Turkish cooperation level, and also the joint research projects would be essential. We can clearly see that only those research projects can be successful and can be commercialized well, I mean, having good publication and citations, where the cooperation is international. We should set emphasis and focus more on how to create international editorials for our best journals. Scopus or Web of Science listed journals, how we can invite each other and how we can strengthen each other when it comes to these publications. I myself, I am the co-editor-in-chief of the Journal of Central Asian Studies in Astana, which is published by the KAZIS, the Kazakh Institute of Strategic Studies, the former KISI, or still KISI, but earlier it was the Kazakh Institute of International Affairs. So I have very good experiences in this field. We have to promote these as well, but the mobility would be the most essential thing. The mobility of students and the mobility of staff members from the academia, and we could extend it also to the field of the think tanks. How we can visit each other more often, how we can start new publications and write joint publications and policy papers and others, and how we can raise the attention to different topics and how we can advise together to our governments in different complex issues.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You mentioned about while answering that question, but at the same time, in your speech, you mentioned. But I will ask this question: what can you say about the interest in Hungary in the field of education from Turkey and the Turkic world? What kind of incentives do you have for students from these countries? If the number is not sufficient, what suggestions do you have to increase it?
Yes, as you could see on the figures, we have like almost 1,500 or something like this students in the frame of the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship program. And moreover, we have triple so more students who are paying tuition fee because they think that they can get a very competitive diploma in Hungary, and they are paying tuition fee for it. How we could increase these numbers? For sure, we should increase the seats at the universities for Turkish students for this scholarship. I mean, for the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship, and we should increase and somehow upgrade the bilateral educational cooperation. We can focus on certain areas. We know that, let's say, Uzbekistan is in need for agricultural experts, then we should offer more seats at agricultural universities. But the part-time studies could help a lot. So providing scholarships not just for full-time studies, but also for part-time studies. But these bilateral university cooperations are aiming this. Hungarian universities have opportunities to invite Turkish students to Hungary to studies for part-time studies and for the double degrees. But what I think is a gap right now is the staff exchange and how to provide programs. Let's say I have an idea to provide programs for our Turkish friends at universities, a kind of educational program or a kind of certificate program, few days or 1-2 weeks, and we could make briefings on the contemporary European higher education, the global higher education trends, and also for sure on the Hungarian opportunities, or even the methodological issues. And in this way, the Turkish colleagues could travel to Hungary. They could have 1-2 weeks here, and not just education, but social programs. It could establish several new connections between our staff members, and among our staff members, it could initiate new research projects, new publications, new publication ideas, even new journals, and any other networking. Because nowadays the networking is the most essential part of the academia. So yes, but back to the students. Indeed, this could help part-time studies and the double degree programs, in my opinion.
What is the public perception in Hungary about membership into the organization of the Turkic states?
Yes, actually, average people do not know too much about this, for sure. It is, I would say, best known in the higher politics and in the elite. Some of them, especially those who are belonging to the opposition, they are sometimes criticizing it, but not really, I would say. During the summit, I didn't read any serious critics why Hungary is a member of the Organization of Turkic States. So the opposition parties are not really criticizing this. And for sure, the government is pushing it really, and creating the environment for the cooperation.
Okay. Another question. How did the European Union react to Hungary becoming an observer member of the Organization of the Turkic States?
Yes, this is a very good question, but we are not members, so they cannot criticize us.
Observer.
Yeah,
As
but the
observer.
observer status
Yeah.
is not a membership, you know.
Yeah,
So
right. You are right.
eventually,
Yeah.
eventually, I am quite critical towards the European Union in this regard. Because instead of they would use this opportunity. I mean, they would use Hungary as a bridge and as a facilitator and moderator between the Turkish world and the European Union. They are just neglecting us in this regard too. So their political implications and their political motivations are overwriting the rational necessities. And believe me that Hungary is the country which is understanding the Turkish world the best. I think you have several experiences with your Western European partners and also with Hungarians, and you understand what about I'm talking. So yes, they are sometimes criticizing us, but not. Yes, okay, but
Yes.
not very hard. The problem is that the European Union doesn't know what to do in Central Asia and with Central Asia. The European Union still thinks that it is a power, but in fact not. There is no common foreign policy. Each member states are competing each other in this region. Everybody wants to make business in the Turkish world. Hungary's position is very clear. We want to have good relations with the Turkish world without any criticism and without trying to influence the domestic politics of the Turkish world. But this is not true on Western Europe. Yes, if we would try to be a full member, I don't know what would happen, but I think nothing. Basically, the European Union member states are individual member states, so they have the right to manage their foreign policy as they want. For sure, if we would like to join the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, then it would be a larger conflict. Or if we would like to join the Eurasian economic integration, it would be a quite big scandal. But with organization of Turkic states, which is based on joint national feelings, the European Union cannot do anything, in my opinion.
What is the public perception in Hungary about European Union membership, and how manages the governments that, especially we consider the last developments in the European Union or in the Western side?
Yes, it is also a good question. Actually, I would say Hungary is the black sheep of the European Union. Why? Because we think that there are some values which cannot be surpassed by the so-called European values. Hungary is, let's say, restricted and penalized because we do not want to have LGBTQ propaganda in the Hungarian educational institutions, and we made a legal environment where the sexual education of the children is the exclusive right of their parents and not of the NGOs. And the second issue is the illegal migration, where Hungary is very much is having a very, very tough and hard point. We closed our border because it is not natural and it is not a fundamental right to cross the green borders without any documents and without any control. That was in 2015. We were criticized very hard, and then the other Schengen border countries started to do the same what Hungary did, and nobody told Hungary sorry. We were not right. So we have debates with the European Union in fundamental questions, and by now we are very much restricted to reach the cohesion funds. So many billion euros are not available for Hungary because the European Union forced us to change this legal environment, which is related to the LGBTQ propaganda and the illegal migration. So situation is not easy, but by now still the government manage it, but it's really not so easy. even economically, and even if the EU subsidies are taking just around 2% of the total of the yearly GDP, but indeed, at least as a liquidity, it is missing. But Hungarian government is very, very much committed. So I would say Hungary's view, or how Hungary is looking like in Europe, in the European Union, is not good. And the public perception is not good. In some countries, the situation changed because this how they look on us. It is also subject of who is governing the country. Until in the largest countries, we can see left liberal governments. They will never acknowledge the values of the patriotic and sovereignist populist Hungarian government. Now, I think that till the next parliamentary elections in Hungary, nothing will happen. I mean, in the European level, they won't provide the EU funds for Hungary. They will use political pressure against the Hungarian government. It is a very complex situation, indeed.
As well as I see the famous double standards of the European, I think, prepare the end of its spirit, union of spirit, especially in terms of values. So, as well as we observe from here, I think there is a big dilemma, and we cannot be sure about the future of European Union in this new atmosphere. It is our perception from here. So we can understand the Hungarian people. So we have got, I think, similar approaches, especially when we look at the last attitudes or approaches of the European Union to the matter, democracy, values, and others. So not so much good developments. And the last two questions, Professor Vasa. Of course, now we also face to face a Trump reality. So what do people think about Trump's policies? What is the expectations, fear, hope, anxiety, and so on?
Yeah, it is sometimes hard to follow what Trump really wants. But one thing is clear: if we look this Trump phenomenon, I have to note that the Prime Minister Orban, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, is in a really good friendship with Trump. It is a good question. So it is a fact. It is a fact. Prime Minister Orban always supported Trump, even after he lose its second elections as president against Biden. And when it was clear that he will run again, Viktor Orban was the first who expressed his full support towards Trump, because the Biden administration was very, very hostile, let's say, towards Hungary. They did several negative actions against Hungary. They tried to take domestic political actions against the
government. You are not alone.
Sorry?
You are not alone.
Yeah. Yes. So anyway, it is no question that Viktor Orban and Trump, they are good friends, really good friends. They have very frequent talks via phone or via any other channels. But the good question, if we look from the macro perspective, when it came to this, let's call it negotiations or the pressure by the US to the trade, international trade issues, and the related customs. The good question, okay, so Hungary is friend, EU is not so friend, but Hungary is part of the European Union.
Yeah.
How can we make as a or be as an exemption from the rules, from the general rules, when we are fully integrated into the European Union? Finally, this problem is postponed, because finally they made a deal or something. It was a very interesting game. But yes, so in Hungary, it is widely known that Hungary is or would be preferred by Trump administration. This even our opposition parties admit. What the opposition parties can do, so what they can say. So Trump will be the president for the coming years. So they cannot say anything, and they have to admit that yes, the current populist government of Hungary is good relations with Trump. It's no question. That is why they are not criticizing Viktor Orban for that reason. They try to criticize Viktor Orban that he is the puppet of Putin or the puppet of Xi Jinping, but in this case, he should be a puppet of Trump as well. So I think the relations of Orban Viktor with Trump is much better than with Putin or even with Xi Jinping. But with Russia and with China, Hungary tries to have a pragmatic relations without any ideology or without any value-based politics. We just want to make business, as Italy or even Germany wants to do, or even the US would like to do. So the public perception, I don't know whether somebody made any poll on the popularity of Trump, but who cares how popular Trump is in Hungary. Trump is the president of the world's largest and most and strongest country, a power. So we should be happy, and we are lucky to have good personal relations with Trump. And we know that in case of Trump, the personal relations count very much.
Yeah.
Count a lot.
Yeah. What is the main narrative in Hungarian public diplomacy about a Russian threat?
I think the perception of the Russian threat is the lowest among the Central European countries. There are several reasons for that. First of all, we always clearly, I mean, Hungary, the Hungarian government always clearly and not secretly announced that we are interested in good relations with Russia. Why? Because still 80%, let's say 80% of the gas is coming from Russia. It is coming not via the friendship or Druzhba pipeline via Ukraine anymore, but it is coming via the Turkish stream. With the help of our Turkish brothers, we can get gas. Moreover, if we are not talking about Russian gas, then we can talk about the Azeri gas. So the people know that if they want to have heating in the winter time, we need Russia, but not for political purposes, but not because we love them, but because we need them. It is a kind of business. The same for the nuclear power plant. The fuel is coming from Russia. We need it because almost 50% of the power, the electric power, is coming from our nuclear power plant, which was built with Russian technology and fueled by Russian uranium fuel. So the people know that for the everyday life we need Russia. So this perception of the Russian threat is absolutely not in the public discourse. But I really understand that in Poland or even in Romania, they feel that they are in danger. Romania is neighboring Moldova, where in fact on the Moldovan territories in Transnistria, Russian troops are stationing, and Russia and Poland has very sad historical lessons in connection with Russia. We fully understand it, and we never question this. So we have very good relations with Poland and with the Polish people. Especially if the government is also friendly towards us, but not this time. But the average people like each other. Really, they are really good friends. I also have very good Polish friends. We are never questioning each other's point. because Hungarians are right and Polish are right. So in that context, everybody has right. So this is the main reason. This is the main reason, and our press and our government doesn't try to create this war psychosis. We are for peace, and we try to do everything for the negotiations. So my answer, it is not really presented. Our services, our intelligence services, they are doing their job, and the counterintelligence services, for sure. We know very well that we have Russian spies in Hungary, as they are in Vienna, as they are in Turkey, as they are in the United States and in Poland. And if we detect any activities against our law, then we are pushing them out. So this is very clear.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. As I
Thank you very much.
stated, the questions are many, but I think enough. And,
yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
We have tired you, but it has been enriched with the questions and answers from our viewers, of course.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure indeed.
Thank you. We hope to deepen our cooperation, Professor, in the context of your university and the think tank you work for, and we hope to see you as soon as possible in Turkey. We hope.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
I hope. Thank you very much for the invitation again, and it was a pleasure to contribute to the seminar series. And I am at your disposal anytime.
Okay, thank you. Yes, dear viewers, we have come to the end of another program today. So see you in the next program. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.